Welcome back to the BingeCast.
Oh,
Scary episode.
why do we sound like this? It's scary.
Because I'm trying to be scary. What is your problem?
Okay, have a deep voice just for like a minute. You can do that.
Yeah, I can have a deep voice for just a minute. That's how low I can go. I don't know what you want. I don't know what he wants from me.
Okay, let's try again.
Okay.
Welcome to.
That's not good either. That's just not
Wait,
good.
no, I have to do the monster voice.
What?
Welcome to
Okay.
the Binge Cast.
Scary edition. This week we've got a absent member / producer guy.
Who cooked this
Gibster.
up?
Who cooked this up? He cooked up the episode, and we were reviewing it beforehand, and it's looking a little iffy. So if something goes wrong, you know what?
Fuck that guy.
Fuck him, man.
Fuck that
Fuck
guy.
him. Because why would he do that to us? But no, he's out of town for the week, and we're excited to have him back next week. But for
course.
this week, we'll be reading a scary story to kind of, get back to our, I almost said roots.
Yeah, that's not our root. But it is a new segment called
a fun
Scary Thursday. No? Terrifying Thursday.
Terrifying Thursdays.
I'm so good at it.
Good shit, man. Holy moly.
Anyways, on this terrifying Thursday, we have another Reddit no sleep story
Yes.
made by Search and Rescue Woods.
Back in like 2015. I'm pretty sure I have read this story like years and years ago. And I remember it being good,
Okay.
but I also don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, me
so-
neither. This title says nothing to me, so I don't think I've heard it.
Well, yeah, he's just a search and rescue officer, and he wants to tell some stories.
Makes sense for the U.S. Forest Service.
Yeah. So thank you to Search. I'm pretty sure that's not their actual one. Like it
Mhm.
must be, but like the Reddit name, Search and Rescue Woods, like they only did that story and then nothing else.
It could probably be that this popped off and then he made the username.
It could be.
Probably. But no further ado.
Yes.
Are you gonna start it off or should I?
I'll do it. You know what? I've got zero faith in you and whatever the fuck you're gonna do. So
you.
we got some editor's notes from Gibby that we'll try to not read aloud. But I'm just a reader and I be reading things.
I'm just a reader, man.
I'm just a read. I'm just a guy reading. We got part 1. And we'll be switching on each bulletin.
Yeah.
Because that's the way this story's formatted.
It's like
Stories
mini. From what I understand, it's like mini stories packed into one big story.
Yeah, I mean, we told Gibby to do a better job, and he did not do that.
Yeah. So they'll get no treats next episode.
0 treats, actually. Yeah, he'll be starving in my basement. But let's get into the story.
Ooh.
Part 1. We'll try to keep this somewhat serious, but not really, because we're incredibly bad at that.
Lock it.
Part 1. I'm a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forest Service. I have some stories to tell. Cough.
Okay, that's your fault. Wait, let me cough for real. Gotta get my throat ready. We'll pause, but yeah.
I wasn't sure where else to post these stories, so I figured I'd share them here. I've been an SAR officer for a few years now, and along the way, I've seen some things that I think you guys will be interested in. First bulletin. I have a pretty good track record for finding missing people. Most of the time, they just wander off the path or slip down a small cliff, and they can't find their way back. The majority of them have heard the old stay where you are thing, and they don't wander far. But I've had 2 cases where that didn't happen. Both bothered me a lot, and I used them as motivation to search even harder on the missing persons case I get called on. The first was a little boy who was out berry picking with his parents. He and his sister were together, and both of them went missing around the same time. Their parents lost sight of them for a few seconds, and in that time, both kids apparently wandered off. When their parents couldn't find them, they called us, and we came out to search the area. We found the daughter pretty quickly, and when we asked where the brother was, she told us that he'd been taken by the bear man. She said he gave her berries and told her to stay quiet, that he wanted to play with her brother for a while. That's fucking... Whoa. Oh,
That's crazy.
that we went hard into this one. Damn, okay. The last she saw of her brother was he was riding on the shoulders of the bear man and seemed calm. Of course, our first thought was abduction. but we never found a trace of another human being in that area. The little girl was also insistent that he wasn't a normal man, but that he was tall and covered in hair, like a bear, and that he had a weird face. We searched that area for weeks. It was one of the longest calls I've ever been on, but we never found a single trace of that kid. The other was a young woman who was out hiking with her mom and grandpa. According to the mother, her daughter had climbed up a tree to get a better view of the forest, and she'd never come back down. They waited at the base of the tree for hours, calling her name before they called for help. Again, we searched everywhere, and we never found a trace of her. I have no idea where she could possibly have gone, because neither her mother or grandpa saw her coming. So what would you? So if like
That
you-
sounds.
so okay, you're a search and rescue officer. You come out to the woods.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, so where's the kid at? They're like, we don't know. That's what we called you. And
And
you're like,
the
oh,
bear man took
when
him.
was the last time you saw her? The bear man.
Right, right.
What do you do?
I'd do this. Okay, the wind is going that way.
Yeah.
Traces are going that way. You follow the traces, obviously.
He went south.
He
He,
went
fucking
south.
freaking run.
I can smell the hair.
Oh, it smells like bear piss.
Honestly, I don't know what the fuck I would do. It's just because it sounds like, okay, he got abducted by pedophile.
Yeah, no,
GG.
big time, big. But also at the same time, like search and rescue is like such a horrifying job.
Especially out in the woods.
You just but anywhere, like you're search and rescuing for a person that is like not there.
No, but search and rescue in the city, what is that? That's like for
This is-
calamities, right? Like when like earthquake,
Yeah,
search and rescue.
but I mean that's still like you go out and you're probably gonna find a fair amount of people that aren't alive
Alive,
anymore,
yeah.
and you know
Yeah. True.
it can't be fun. I'll say that much.
Can't
We said it here first. That shit can't be fun. All right, go with the next one.
Second bulletin. A few times I've been out on my own searching with a canine, and they've tried to lead me straight up cliffs, not hills, not even rock faces, straight sheer cliffs with no possible handholds. It's always baffling, and in those cases, we usually find the person on the other side of the cliff, or miles away from where the canine led us. I'm sure there's an explanation, but it's sort of strange. Third bulletin.
You don't have to say that every
Oh.
time.
I thought that was like the format. But yeah, one particularly sad case involved the recovery of a body. A 9-year-old girl fell down an embankment and got impaled on a dead tree
Oh Jesus!
at the base. It was a complete freak accident, but I'll never forget the sound of her mother made when we told her that what had happened. She saw the body bag being loaded into the ambulance, and she let out the most haunting, heartbroken wail I've ever heard. It was like her whole life was crashing down around her, and part of her died with her daughter. I've heard from another SAR officer that she killed herself a few weeks after it happened. She couldn't live with the loss of her daughter.
Jesus,
That is sad.
that is super sad.
What the fuck?
I was teamed up with another SAR search and rescue officer because we'd received reports of bears in the area. We were looking for a guy who hadn't come home from a climbing trip when he was supposed to, and we ended up having to do some serious climbing to get to where we figured he'd be. We found him trapped in a small crevasse with a broken leg. It was not pleasant. I mean, he's alive still. He'd been there for almost 2 days, and his leg was obviously infected.
That's like that one movie.
127 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the James Franco.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's such a good movie.
I've never seen it. I haven't.
That's a good movie. You should.
We were able to get him into a chopper, and I heard from one of the EMTs that the guy was absolutely inconsolable. He kept talking about how he'd been doing fine, and when he got into the top, a man had been there. The bear man. That didn't say that. He said the guy had no climbing equipment, and he was wearing a parka and ski pants.
A what?
A
The fuck is
parka?
a parka?
It's like one of them fancy finance guy shit that they wear.
Finance guy?
Yeah, finance guys always wear parkas. It's like the puffer jacket, but like no arms.
Oh,
Yeah.
that goofy stuff.
I'm pretty sure that's a parka.
You walk?
He walked up to the guy, and when the guy turned around, he said he had no face. It was just blank. He freaked out and ended up trying to get off the mountain too fast, which is why he'd fallen. He said he could hear the guy all night climbing down the mountain and letting out these horrible muffled screams. The story bothered the hell out of me. I'm glad I wasn't there to hear it.
That's like you got trolled by Slender Man.
Yeah, basically.
One of the scariest things I've ever had happen to me involved the search of a young woman who'd gotten separated from her hiking group. We were out until late because the dogs had picked up her scent. When we found her, she was curled up under a large, rotted log. She was missing her shoes and pack, and she was clearly in shock. She didn't have any injuries, and we were able to get her to walk with us back to base camp. Along the way, she kept looking behind us and asking us why the big man with the black eyes was following us. We couldn't see anyone. We just wrote it off as some weird symptom of shock. But the closer we got to base, the more agitated the woman got. She kept asking me to tell him to stop making faces at her. At one point, she stopped and turned around and started yelling into the forest, saying that she wanted him to leave her alone. She wasn't going with him, she said, and she wouldn't give us to him. We would finally got her to keep moving, but we started hearing those weird noises coming from all around us. It was almost like coughing, but more rhythmic and deeper. It was
Like a car starting.
it was almost insect-like. I don't really know how to describe it, but when we were within the sight of our base ops, the woman turns to us, and her eyes were about as wide as I could imagine a human could open them. She touches my shoulder and says, "He says to tell you to speed up. He doesn't like looking at the scar of your neck on your neck." Ooh. I have a very small scar on the base of my neck, but it's mostly hidden under my collar, and I have no idea how this woman saw it. Right after she says it, I hear that weird coughing right in my ear, and I just about jumped out of my skin. I hustled her to ops, trying not to show how freaked out I was, but I have to say I was really happy we left the area that night.
Mm-hmm.
What in the fuck, bro? I would have quit.
Yeah, but like, yeah, because like, how would she know, right?
Yeah,
It's like
and like a crazy woman just yelling, "Get back!" and you looking back in the dark
the
forest.
man with the black eyes.
Yeah,
Mm. Hey, just see you in the woods. Run, 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 run. This is the last one I'll tell you, and it's probably the weirdest story I have. Now, I don't know if this is true in every SAR unit, but in mine, it's sort of an unspoken, regular thing we run into. You can try asking about it with other SAR officers, but even if they know what you're talking about, they probably won't say anything about it. We've been told not to talk about it by our superiors, and at this point, we've all gotten used to it, so it doesn't even seem weird anymore. On just about every case where we're really far into the wilderness, I'm talking 30, 40 miles at some point, we'll find a staircase in the middle of the woods. It's almost like if you took the stairs out of your house, cut them out, and put them in the forest. I asked about it the first time I saw some, and the other officer told me not to worry about it, that it was normal. Everyone I asked did the same thing. I wanted to go check them out, but I was told very emphatically that I should never go near any of them. I just sort of ignore them now when I run into them because it happens apparently so frequently.
Okay.
Have you ever been? Okay, we don't have that a lot here, but I did try that in the U.S. Like you go into a forest and there actually are just like parts of houses just around.
Yeah. I mean, no, I've only tried huts.
Yeah, it's not really a big thing here by any means, but like
Mm.
I remember one time in like upstate New York, we were out like just fucking doing thing in a forest as you do when
Right.
you're a teenager, right?
As you do, as you do.
As you do. And like genuinely, there was like this house, like everything but the walls. There's just the
What do you mean, the foundation of it?
Yeah, just
Like the beams only?
just like the beams and like wall tearings and whatever
Okay, okay.
connecting some of it.
Yeah.
But it was like sort of hollow. You can look through it. There's like nothing inside of it. No roof. No nothing.
Damn.
It was just the door and then like the beams and like slide wall tearings around, like kind of seeing how it looked. I thought it was freaky as fuck, and they're all like, "It's just a house." Like, what do you mean?
But it is for you.
We're in the middle of the fucking forest. Why is there a house here?
But I think that's why in America they got so many stories like that, because it's so big. First of all,
Mhm.
and like throughout the 200 years, people just used to just go some random ass place, build a house,
Yeah,
like some
mean,
random
yeah,
ass
for
place in
sure.
the forest.
especially in America, because it was like the expanding land or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So like you might find some fucking freaky ass house with a freaky ass
Mhm.
history.
I'll take this one.
Okay,
it's
part
short.
we're at part 2.
We're at part 2. So, I looked back on tonight and was blown away by the staggering amount of interest this seems to have generated. First off, I'll address a few things that you guys have brought up. There was a lot of feedback about the stairs, so I'll touch on that briefly here, and I'll also include a story. They come in a variety of shapes, sizes, styles, and conditions. Some are very dilapidated, just ruins, but others are brand new. I saw one set that looked like they came from a lighthouse. They were metal and spiral, almost old-fashioned. The stairs don't go up infinitely, or farther than I can see, but some sets are taller than others. Like I said before, I just imagined the stairs in your house. as if someone cut and pasted them into the middle of nowhere. I don't have any pictures. It's never really occurred to me to try again after the first time, and I don't really feel like risking my job over it. I'll try again in the future, but I can't really promise anything.
A few people expressed confusion about the guy who ran into the man with no face. Just to clarify, when the climber ascended and reached the top of this peak, he saw another man in a parka and ski pants. This was the man with no face. Sorry about the confusing wording of that story. I'll try to avoid that in the future. All right, on to the news stories.
As far as missing persons go, I'd say about half of the calls I get are related to that. The others are rescue calls, people who fall down cliffs and hurt themselves, get injured by fire. You wouldn't believe how often this happens, most drunk kids. Get bitten or stung by animals or insects. We're a tight team, and we have veterans who are excellent at finding signs of lost people. That's what makes these cases where we never find any trace of them so frustrating. One in particular was upsetting for all of us because we did find a trace of them, but it just led to more questions than answers. An older man had been hiking alone on a well-established trail, but his wife called to say that he hadn't come home when he should have. Apparently, he had a history of seizures, and she was worried that he hadn't taken his medication and had suffered one out on the trail. Before you ask, I have no idea why he thought it was okay to go out. I was about to say that. You're like, why the fuck did he go out alone?
But it seems like some Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Go out alone. Or why she didn't go with him. I don't ask about that kind of thing because past a certain point, it really doesn't matter. Yeah. I mean,
that's hardcore.
no, but at the same time, like you show up, like, why didn't you do blah, blah, blah? Like that all of that doesn't matter. It's just like we're wasting time right now. Like
Yeah.
we gotta go find your husband.
True.
Who like might be somewhere. Someone is missing, and it's my job to find them. We went out in a standard search formation, and it wasn't long before one of our vets found signs the guy had gone off the trail. We grouped up, followed him, spreading out in a fan to make sure we were covering as much ground as possible. Suddenly, a call comes over the radio telling us to all head back to the vet's location. And we come right away, because this usually means the missing person is injured, and we need a full team to help get them out safely. We meet back up, and the vet is just standing at the base of the tree with his hands on the sides of his head. I ask my buddy, what's going on? And he points up into the branches of the tree. I almost couldn't believe what I was seeing, but there was a walking stick dangling from the branch, at least 30 feet off the ground. The little strap thing on the handle has been looped around the branch, and it's just hanging there. There's no way this guy could have tossed it up that far, and we don't see any other signs that he's still in the area. We call up into the tree, but it's obviously, but what the fuck?
Yeah, it's badly written, but
Yo, tree. It's a tree, but it's obvious no one's in it. We're all just sort of left scratching our heads. We keep searching for the guy, but we never find him. We even bring our canines out, but they lose his scent long before this tree. Eventually, the search is called off because there are other calls we have to attend to.
Damn.
And past a certain point, there's not much we can do. The guy's wife called us every day for months, asking if we'd found her husband, and it was heartbreaking to hear her get more and more hopeless each time. I'm not sure why this call in particular was so upsetting, but I think it was just the sheer improbability of it. That and the question that were raised. How the hell had this guy's cane ended up there? Did someone kill him and toss that up there as some weird trophy? We did our best to find him, but it was almost like a taunt. We still talk about that one from time to time.
Jesus. Missing kids are the most heartbreaking. Doesn't matter what circumstances they go missing under. It's never easy, and we always dread the ones we find deceased. It's not common, but it does happen. David Paulides talks a lot about kids SAR teams find in places they shouldn't be or couldn't be. I can honestly say I've heard about this kind of thing happening more than I've seen it, but I'll share one of the ones that I think about a lot that I witnessed personally. A mother and her 3 kids were out for a picnic in the area of the park that has a small lake. One is 6 and one is 5. The other one is about 3. She's watching them really closely, and according to her, she never lets them out of her sight at any time. She never saw anyone else in the area either, which is important. She packs their stuff up, and they start to head back to the parking area. Now, this lake is only about 2 miles into the woods, and it's on a very clearly established trail. It's almost impossible to get lost getting from the parking area to it, unless you're deliberately going off the path like an imbecile.
Don't do that.
Her kids are walking in front of her. When she hears sounds like someone is coming up to the path behind her, she turns around, and And in the 4 or so seconds she's not looking, her 5-year-old son vanishes. She figures he stepped off the trail. He stepped off the trail to pee or something. And she asked her other two sons where he went. They both tell her this is so badly made. Oh my god, Jesus Christ!
They both tell her that a big man with a scary face came out of the woods.
Took the kid's hand and led him into the woods. The 2 remaining kids don't seem upset. In fact, she says later that it seemed like they've been drugged.
Ew.
They're sort of spacey and fuzzy. So, of course, she freaks out, starts looking frantically in the area for her kid. She's screaming his name, and she says that at one point she thinks she heard him answer her. Now, obviously, she can't go blindly running into the woods. She's got 2 other kids. So she calls the police, and they send us out immediately. We respond, and we start the search for him. Over the course of the search, which spans miles, we never see a single trace of the kid. Canines can't pick up a scent. We don't find any clothing or broken bushes or literally anything that would signify a child being here. Of course, there's suspicion about the mother for a while, but it's pretty clear that she's completely destroyed by the whole thing. We looked for this kid for weeks with a lot of volunteer help, but eventually the search peters out and we have to move on. The volunteers keep searching, though, through, I guess. And one day we get a call on the radio letting us know that a body has been found and needs to be recovered. They tell us the location and none of us can believe it. We figured it had to be a different kid. But we go out there about 15 miles from the site where he vanished. And sure enough, we find the body of the kid we've been looking for. I've been trying to figure out how this kid got where he did ever since we found him. And I've never come up with an answer. A volunteer just happened to be in the area because he figured he might as well look in places no one else would think to be on the off chance that a body's been dumped. He comes to the base of a tall, rocky slope, and halfway up, he sees something. A little opening in the rock. He recognizes the color of the kid's shirt, so he knows right away that that's the missing boy. That's when he calls it in. And we dispatched. It took us only almost an hour to get his body down, and none of us could believe that what we were seeing. Not only was this kid 15 miles from where he started, there's no possible way he could have gotten up there on his own. This slope is treacherous, and it's even hard for us with our climbing gear. A 5-year-old has had no way of getting up there. Of that, I am certain. Not only that, but the kid doesn't have a scratch on him. His shoes are gone, but his feet aren't damaged or dirty. So it wasn't as if an animal dragged him up there, or from what I can tell, he hasn't been dead that long. He'd been out there for over a month at that point, and it looked like he'd only been dead for a day, most of the 2. The whole thing was unbelievably strange and one of the most disconcerting calls I've ever been on. We found out later that the coroner determined that the kid had died from exposure. He'd frozen to death, probably late at night, 2 days before we found him. There were no suspects and no answers. To date, it's one of the weirdest things I've seen. That gotta be Slender Man.
Yeah,
That is. There's no other explanation.
I think this story is just about Slenderman.
It's just Slenderman.
They're gonna go into the woods. They're gonna find 9 pages all of a sudden. They'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah, the kid just went around, played the game. Like, he took the pages, and then the last page, he got snatched.
The bear man, the man with the black eyes, Slender Boy.
Like, do you know, like, I've never, again, in Denmark, we don't really have that, because we don't have a lot of mysterious, creepy forests.
No, it's too small of a country.
We're
like
too
everything
small,
is
yeah.
so explored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just concrete jungles. Like, if
I mean,
anything.
you can go to forests, but like
Yeah.
then you go like bounce the fire.
Yeah.
It just don't work the same.
Like, and if not, it's parks that are enclosed.
It is part, yeah.
But yeah.
But also at the same, like, have you ever been to a park at night?
Yeah.
They're still pretty fucking creepy.
They are. No, I've been in a forest at night.
Why?
That really, and that was fucking scary. Like, if you're ever at like Bargain as a
Mhm.
child, and then it closes at 12
do you
p.m.
know?
right?
Do you
Yeah.
know?
So like the what is it called? What is it called when it's like Tivoli, those kind of places? What are they called?
Amusement parks?
Amusement parks. So that amusement park, it's out of the woods, right?
Mhm.
Right
Yeah,
by
yeah.
Duahaven, which is a big one. One of the biggest forests we have on this island.
I don't. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that closes at 12, and then we
Mhm.
went out, and the trail doesn't have lights when you go back to the train station,
Mhm.
which is like half a kilometer. Still a little while. That was scary as a kid.
I mean, honestly, I still think we should do an episode where we because once we get the portable one,
Yeah, go fuck yourself. I know
We-
what you're
we
about
can-
to
we
say.
can- we can go
Go
places.
fuck yourself.
we go read scary stories in the actual dark, dude. I'd
No,
be
no,
so
no.
fucking hype.
Listen.
Please leave a like on the video if you'd like us to do that, because he
I
clearly
will,
does not
I
want to
will
do that.
leave the podcast.
That'd be so fun.
not
That'd be
doing
so
it.
fun. We'll start a little campfire.
Oh, I'm too black for this. I can't.
We'll
I
start a little
can't.
campfire. You know, we'll get marshmallows. We'll roast marshmallows while doing. We'll get Gibby to roast marshmallows while doing it.
I'll need a weapon. That's all I ask.
What do you want, a clock?
Yeah.
No,
Give me a Tech 9.
that's not happening here.
Fuck it all.
One of my first jobs as a trainee was a search up for a 4-year-old kid that had gotten separated from his mom. This was one of those cases where we knew we were going to find him because the dogs were on a strong scent trail and we saw clear signs that he was in the area. We ended up finding him in a berry patch about half a mile from where he had last been seen. Kid wasn't even aware he'd wandered off that far. One of the vets brought him back, which I was glad for because I'm not really good with kids. Imagine just being a search and rescue officer and be like, fuck, do we have to do this?
Imagine finding a kid that's lost in shock and you're just like, just come with me, man.
Yeah, could you just like walk like this? Don't touch me, please. Just like walk this way.
He's like, I'm scared. I can't do this. Shut the fuck up.
Jesus Christ,
Fucking walk.
It's really not that hard. But as my trainer and I heard it back, she decides to take me up on a detour to show me one of the hot spots where we tend to find missing people. It's a natural dip in the. That's funny. That's funny to me. Like the search and rescue officers just see, like we all know from our jobs when like things.
I kind of got lost in the text. What is it?
Kid wasn't even aware as my trainer, and I hit it back.
Yeah.
She decided to take me on a detour to show me one of the hot spots. I like the idea of the hot spots, the thing, because we all know those things from our jobs. We're like, oh, this happens all the time, or like I have to repeat myself constantly. These people just like go to the same spot, like, oh, we found Jerry. Yep, there he is.
Went to the local little fucking whatever.
Yep, he's there. Mm-mm. Oh, Geronimo, we got him too.
Geronimo.
Jerry and Geronimo.
The Native American Geronimo.
Is that a Native American name?
I'm pretty sure there's a story about a Native American
Geronimo.
Geronimo.
Oh, we hike out there. It's a few miles away, and we get there in about an hour or so. As we're walking around the area, and she's pointing out places that she's found people in the past. Found Jerry there. Found Geronimo there. We got Lily over here.
I got Lucy too. Shit.
I see something in the distance. Now, this area we're in is about 8 miles from the main parking area, though there's back roads you can take to get closer if you don't want to hike that far. But we're in a state-protected land, which means that there can't be any kind of commercial or residential development out here. The most you'll ever see is a fire tower or a makeshift shelter that homeless people think they can get away with building.
Oh, what the fuck?
That is crazy.
Bro, it's a forest. Just let them
let them
rest.
Yeah, honestly, just chill. But I can see from here that whatever this thing is has straight edges. And if there's one thing you learn quickly, it's that nature rarely makes lines straight. I point it out, but she doesn't say anything. She just hangs back and let me wander over and check it out. I get within 20 feet of it, and all the hair on my back, the back of my neck stands up. It's a staircase in the middle of the fucking woods. In the proper context, it would literally be the most benign thing ever. It's just a normal staircase with a beige carpet and about 10 steps tall. But instead of being a house, in a house, where it obviously should be, it's out here in the middle of the woods. The sides aren't carpeted, obviously. Fucking yeah, obviously. That would be silly.
Imagine having a stairs with carpet on the side.
Yeah, my wood stairs obviously are not fucking carpeted on the sides.
Never seen this before, but you shouldn't have that.
Stupid. And I can see the wood it's made of. It's almost like a video game glitch, where the houses fail to load completely, and the stairs are the only thing visible. I stand there, and it's like my brain is working overtime to try and make sense of what I'm seeing. My trainer comes and stands next to me. So why you?
Because the way you said it,
Yeah,
my trainer comes.
Dude, reading's fucking tough.
Why did you elongate
Because I'm reading. She just stands there casually looking at it as if it's the least interesting thing in the world. I ask her what the fuck this thing is doing here, and she just chuckles. Get used to it, rookie. You're gonna see a lot of them.
What?
I start to move closer, but she grabs my arm hard. I wouldn't do that, she says. Her voice is casual, but her grip is tight, and I just stand there looking at her. You're gonna see them all the time, but don't go near them. Don't touch them. Don't go up them. Just ignore them. I start to ask her about it, but something in the way that she's looking at me tells that it's best I don't. We end up moving on, and the subject doesn't come up again for the rest of my training. She was right, though. I'd say about every fifth call I go on, I end up running across a set of stairs. Sometimes they're relatively close to the path, maybe within 2 or 3 miles. Sometimes they're 20, 30 miles out, literally in the middle of nowhere. And I only find them during broadest searches or training weeks. They're usually in good condition, but sometimes it looks like they've been out here for a while. All different kinds, all different sizes. The biggest I ever saw looked like they came out of a turn of the century mansion and were at least 10 feet wide. That's a lot of feet.
That is a lot of feet.
That's a lot of feet. Don't like feet. With steps leading up to at least 15 or 20 feet. I've tried talking about it with people, but they just give me the same response my trainer did. It's normal. Don't worry about it. They're not a big deal, but don't go close to them or up them.
That is a pretty big deal.
That's a pretty big deal. Yeah. Why are you acting so casually about this shit? This shit's fucking weird. Every fifth, you go up, stairs.
Yeah.
No.
Don't touch them though. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
them,
You just look at them. Just appreciate them for their beautiful wonder.
craftsmanship.
But like, don't go near them.
I'd be so mad.
Yeah, I would be like, are you rage baiting me or what?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Oh, it's like fever dream.
I don't really know what else to tell them. I'm really hoping someday I get a better answer, but it hasn't happened yet. Lock the fuck in, buddy.
This is another one that was less spooky and more sad. I get all the sad ones.
Yeah.
A young man went missing late in winter, when realistically no one should be going out that far onto the trails. We close a lot of them, but some remain open year round, unless there's a shitload of snow. We did an op for him, but we had
Op.
like what?
He's one of the op.
But we had about 6 feet of snow on the ground. It was unusually heavy snow that year. And we knew it wasn't likely that we'd find him until spring when the thaw came. Sure enough, when the first big thaw came, a hiker reported a body a little ways off the main trail. We found him at the base of a tree in a pile of melted snow. I knew right away what had happened, and it scared the living shit out of me. Most of you who ski or snowboard or spend any amount of time on the mountain will probably have guessed it too. When snow falls, it doesn't collect a stick in behind the branches. Pause. I know this.
What?
This is a thing.
I do not know this.
When you ski
Mm-hmm.
and you see the trees poking up from the snow, right?
Yeah.
If you fall close, there's like a dead zone close to the tree, like a
Okay.
circle that
Yeah, I mean, because of the leaves, I guess, or whatever.
because the
branches.
foundation isn't packed because of the tree.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so you'll fall down into like a pit,
Mhm.
which will make you like fall 6 meters under the snow and get buried.
Oh shit.
And like that happens like quite a lot.
Why do you know this? Do you know how to ski?
No,
Have you ever been on a ski trip?
never will and never have.
Oh.
Never will, never have. But I saw a video of a guy actually falling down into the pit with a GoPro camera,
Mhm.
and then he was fighting his way up.
Yeah.
And-
It's scary. Like snow is heavy.
So it's
Snow
like,
is
and the more
heavy.
you move, the more fall down. onto you,
Exactly,
and the
yeah.
deeper you go. So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
fucked. So he stayed still
Mm.
and like just removed the front top, and then his friend came immediately,
Yeah.
and then like got some weird way of getting him out, and
Mhm.
then he survived. It was-
Mm.
Woo.
Jesus Christ.
It happens most with fir trees because they have a sort of closed umbrella shape. So what you end up with is space around the base of the tree that's filled with a mixture of loose, powdery snow, air, and branches. They're called tree wells, and they're not immediately obvious if you don't know what you're looking for. We put up signs in the welcome center, big ones, letting people know how dangerous they are. But every year we get an unusual amount of snow. At least one person doesn't read them or doesn't take the warning seriously, and we'd find out about it in spring. My best guess is that this young man was hiking and got tired, or maybe a cramp from walking in the deep snow. He went to go sit at the base of the tree, not knowing that there was a tree well, and fell in. He got stuck with his feet up,
Jesus.
and the surrounding snow caved in around him, unable to free himself. He suffocated. It's called snow immersion suffocation. That's a sentence. And it doesn't usually
It's also a kink, actually. Yeah.
and it doesn't usually happen except in really deep snow. But if you get stuck in a weird position like this guy did, even 6 feet of snow can be lethal. What scared me the most was imagining how he must have struggled upside down in the freezing cold. He didn't die quickly. The snow would have formed a dense, heavy pile on him, and it would have been literally impossible to get out. As it got harder to breathe, he would have known that what was happening. I can't even imagine what he was thinking in his last moment.
Nope, thank you. Mm-mm.
I've heard when people die like that, they do a little like hole so they can still breathe.
Yeah.
So you're basically just dying of hypothermia
Yeah,
slowly.
Which is so much better.
I think
I would rather fucking just,
you drown in snow.
yeah.
But you can't drown in snow.
You can
It's like
not be able to get enough oxygen to keep your shit going. I'm
no, but the
assuming.
snow doesn't work like that.
Oh,
Because every time you breathe, you melt the snow around your like here.
I think it's cold enough that it doesn't do enough.
You think?
Yeah,
So you breathe in snow.
but no.
You sniff snow until you die.
Don't we all sniff snow on the weekends? That's a joke for the
Yeah,
YouTube
we
viewers.
don't do
Yeah,
that.
no. Don't do drugs. Kids. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what would you do? Okay, your fucking legs up. It's GG. You're gone.
Legs up, you can't do shit.
You're done.
Okay, no,
I would
no,
wiggle.
no.
Wiggle.
Yeah, no. You
But
know what
that
I do?
wouldn't help. That wouldn't help.
I do like you know how, you know how
It's
like-
gonna look like a chicken dance.
no. So, like when you're doing a backflip, you do
Mhm.
sideways.
All
So
the
you
time.
get your legs. You only move your legs and wiggle to the side,
Mhm.
and then you
I don't.
upright.
I don't think you can do that. I think there's a reason people lie to this shit because
No,
it
'cause
is
they
so
panic.
GG.
No, because people panic.
And you, of course, would be stay calm as a rock.
No, I would never be in the position because fuck skiing.
Fair enough. I mean, same. I tried skiing. It wasn't for me. A lot of my less outdoorsy friends want to know if I've ever seen the goat man. The fuck's he doing here?
The goatman is an actual cryptid.
Yeah,
Oh shit!
I'm assuming the other people are too.
The bear
The-
man
the-
doesn't
the
exist. Never heard of the bear.
Bear man.
The Mothman
Is-
exists, but not the bear man.
Why not? Why not?
Well, because of the
If-
fact that
if
he
there
doesn't
could-
exist.
If there could be a moth, why not a bear?
Well, if there's a bear, is there a wasp?
Exactly.
No.
Yes.
No.
One animal turns to another.
Okay, German guy.
Hey, be nice. I've ever seen the goat man while I've been out on calls. Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, I've never had anything quite like that happen. I guess the closest was the whole black-eyed man thing, which I didn't see anything. I'm not going to cut to that. However, there was one call where I had something kind of similar happen, but I'm not sure. I'm willing to chalk it up to the goat man. I don't know why. It's just the goat
Why did you
man.
say goat man like it was not scary? Man, it's the goat man. Hey,
because the goat man is I don't know. There's this video about the BuzzFeed guys. And I'm not gonna go off topic, like the BuzzFeed unsolved
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
They did the
yeah,
goat
yeah.
man bridge and everything. And like that shit was scary because it was in a dark forest and there's a bridge. But like, let's be honest here. It's a goat. It's a man.
A
like,
goat man is fucking scary. What do you mean? That's
Uh,
like Satan.
I mean, you know what? I'm
The big guy with the fucking hooves,
Yeah.
staring into your soul with a goat head and horns. That's fucking scary.
What's up, buddy? What can I do to sell my soul? Give me money.
You talk to Beelzebub.
Yeah, I mean, someone's got to do it. He's lonely out there. We got in a report that an older woman had fainted along one of the trails and needed assistance getting back down to the main area. We hike up to where she's at, and her husband is just beside himself. He runs, well, I guess more jogs to us and tells us that he was a little ways off the trail, looking at something when his wife starts screaming behind him. He runs back to her, and she's passed out on the trail. We get on her backboard. We get her on a backboard, and as we're getting her down to Welcome Center, she comes to and starts screaming again. I calm her down and ask what happened to her. I can't remember verbatim what she said, but essentially what happened was this. She'd been waiting for her husband when she started hearing this really strange sound. She said it sounded sort of like a cat, but it was off somehow, and she couldn't quite figure out why. She went a little ahead to try and hear it better, and it sounded like it was coming closer. She said the closer it got, the more uneasy she was, until she finally figured out what was wrong. I do remember this next part because it was so weird that I don't think I could ever forget if I tried. It wasn't a cat. It was a man saying the word meow over and over. Just meow, meow, meow. It's fucking furries are again, man. I just fucking meow. But like, okay. But it wasn't a man. It couldn't have been. Because I've never heard a man make his voice bust like that. I thought my hearing aid was going out, but it wasn't. I adjusted it and it still sounded all buzzy. It was awful. He was coming closer, but I couldn't see him. And the closer he got, the more scared I was. And the last thing I remember was his shape coming out of the trees. I guess that's when I fainted. Now, obviously, I'm a little perplexed as to say why a guy would be out in the fucking woods chanting meow, meow, meow at people. So once we got down the mountain, I tell my superior that I'm gonna go search the area to see if there's anything I can find. He gives me the go-ahead and I grab a radio and hike back to where she fainted. I don't see anyone. So I keep going out about a mile more. And when I head back, I go off the trail to see if I can figure out where she saw him coming from. It's almost sunset at this point, and I don't have any desire to be out at night alone. So I just sort of write it off and make a mental note to check it out again tomorrow. But as I am headed back, I start to hear something in the distance. I stop. I call out for anyone in the immediate area to identify themselves. The sound didn't come closer or got louder, but it sounded exactly like a man saying meow meow in this really odd meow meow, really odd monotone way.
Meow, meow.
As comical as it makes it sound, it was almost like the guy on South Park with electrolarynx Ned. I do not know what the fuck that is. I go off the trail in the direction I think it's coming from, but I've never seemed to get any closer. It's almost like it's coming from all directions. Eventually, it just sort of fades out, and I end up going back to the Welcome Center. I didn't get any further reports like that, and even though I went back to the area, I never heard that exact sound again. I suppose it could have been some stupid kid out there fucking with people, but even I have to admit, it was weird.
Sheesh. That was like kind of comical. That wasn't really like scary stuff, but okay.
No, but I think the thing with these things is like, if we envision them as real, that is terrifying, right? Like, you got to do that.
Well, I'm trying to do that, but that's why the stairs one is scary.
Yeah, the stairs one is scarier.
The stairs one sounds like in a fever dream where you're the only normal one.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
scary.
yeah. You see these fucking weird things, and everyone's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. But don't touch them.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
But don't touch them. Nah, but don't worry about it.
Like, that's like, what
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fuck is
yeah,
going on?
exactly. But I mean, honestly, a meow meow man, I would be terrified. No, is that not
We
scary?
can't call him Meow Meow Man.
He has to be meow meow man. Would that not be fucking
No,
terrifying?
no.
You're walking in the woods, and you start hearing meow meow.
Okay, wait. Okay, what is the scariest, most monotone way? Is it meow, meow?
Yeah. Well,
No, that's not
that
monotone.
begs the question: does he say meow meow, or does he say meow?
Because it's
meow?
monotone, so it's bass.
Meow, meow.
No, that's deep.
Meow, meow.
He goes meow, meow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
Meow, meow. Yeah, it's like a cosplayer.
And then it's just from right to left, meow, meow.
Honestly,
meow, meow,
no, but
meow, meow,
that'd be the
meow.
scary thing, right? Like you hear it all around. That's terrifying. Fuck that shit. No.
All right, we'll get to part 3 in a second with a quick little intermission. Part 3. All right, let's move on to the stories. The first happened on a case that I went out on right after I got out of training and was still pretty new to everything. Before I took this job, I was a volunteer, so I had a basic idea of what to expect. But on those calls, you're mostly dealing with finding lost people after vets had found signs of them. As an SAR officer, you go off all kinds of cases. From animal bites to heart attacks, this case got called in early in the morning from a young couple who were up in the trails that goes by the lake. The husband was completely hysterical, and we couldn't really figure out what was going on. We could hear the woman screaming in the background, and he was begging us to come up right away. When we got there, we see him holding his wife, and she's got something in her arms.
No.
She's screaming these awful, almost animal-like screams, like blood-curdling. That. And he's sobbing.
I know where this is going. I don't like it.
He sees us, and he screams at us to help them, to please get an ambulance up there. Now, obviously, we can't just drive an ambulance up the walking path, so we ask him if his wife needs help or if she can walk on her own. He's still hysterical, but he manages to tell us that it's not his wife that needs help. I go over while one of the vets try to calm him down, and I ask the wife what's going on. She's rocking, holding something, and just shrieking over and over. I crouch down and see whatever she's holding. It's covering her with blood. That's when I noticed the sling on her front, and my heart sinks. I ask her to tell me what's going on, and I sort of pry her arms gently open so I can see what she's holding. It's her baby, obviously dead. His head is caved in on one side, and he's covered in scratches. Now, I've seen dead bodies before, but something about this whole situation hits me hard. I have to take a second to compose myself, and I get up and go get one of the other vets who's standing by. I tell him that it's a dead kid, and he sort of pats my shoulder and says he'll deal with it. It took us over an hour to get this woman to let us see her kid. Every time we try to take him from her, she flips out and tells us we can't have him. That it'll be okay if we just leave her alone and let her help him. But eventually, one of the vets manages to calm her down, and she gives us the body. Took it back to the med area, but when EMT showed up, they told us there was never any hope of saving the kid. He died instantly from the traumas to his head. I was good buddies with one of the nurses who we met at the hospital, and she told me later what had happened. Turns out the couple had been walking with the baby in the sling. They stopped because the kid was fussing. The dad takes the kid and is holding him, looking over the little gully by the path. The mom comes to stand next to him, but she ends up stepping on a loose patch of soil and she trips. She falls into the dad, who drops the kid, who ends up falling about 20 feet down the little gully onto the rocks on the bottom. Dad climbed down and recovered the kid, but he'd fallen right on his head and was dead by the time he got there. The baby was only 15 months old. It was a total freak accident, a series of events that coalesced into the worst possible outcome. Probably one of the most awful calls I've been on.
Yeah, that fucked me up. That big time fucked me up. Yeah,
That,
yeah.
that would not want
I don't
me
know
to
if I
have.
could keep going after that. You know.
But also like the blame part and stuff. I think that's the sort of things that breaks a marriage.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
maybe.
not because you blame them or anything, but just like how fucking sad the accident.
Mm. Yeah.
Kind of shit you can't come back from unless you're
Yeah.
very strong foundation.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Yeah, for sure. I think it's one of the go next.
GG go next.
GG go next.
That
That is so sad. I don't know. But like yeah, it would. I think it would totally break me if I had a job where like you'd see that happen.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't see it happen, but you see the aftermath of it, even, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
I haven't seen a lot of animal bites in my time as an SAR officer, mostly because there aren't that many animals that come around the area. While there are bears in the area that tend to stay pretty far away from people, and sightings are highly unusual. Most of the animals you'll see are small ones like coyotes, raccoons, or skunks. What we do see frequently, though, are moose. And let me tell you, moose are nasty fuckers. They'll chase after anything for any reason, and God help you if you get between a female and its baby. Whew. One of the more amusing calls was a guy who'd gotten chased down by an absolutely massive male moose and was stuck up a tree. Took us almost an hour to get him down, and when he was finally on solid ground again, he looks at me and says, "God damn, them fuckers is big up close." I guess that's not really a scary story, but we still laugh about that one.
I honestly don't know how I've forgotten this story, but it is by far the scariest thing that's happened to me. I guess maybe I've tried so long to forget about it that it just didn't come to my mind right away. As someone who spends literally all their time in the woods, you don't ever let yourself get scared of being alone or out in the middle of nowhere. That's why when you have an experience like this, you tend to just forget about them and move on. This is, to date, the only thing that has ever made me really seriously consider if this job is the right one for me. Oh, now this is the one.
At this point, he's like, maybe
It's a bit too much.
you know, goatmen and like black
Bearmen.
eye dude, bearmen,
Slenderman.
you know, dying kids. Nah, but the random fucking staircase in the woods. No, but this one
This one.
got me.
I don't really like talking about it too much, but I'll do my best if I can remember it all. As I recall, this took place right at the end of spring. It was a typical lost child call. A 4-year-old girl had wandered away from her parents' campsite and has been missing for about 2 hours. Her parents were completely despondent and told us what most parents do. My kid would never wander away. He's so good about staying close. She'd never done anything like this before. We assure the parents that we'll do everything.
That's a mother whose child is not there anymore.
no, but that is parents.
Yeah.
They usually,
Yeah,
Mike
yeah,
is
yeah.
a good kid. Yeah, he's
Of
not.
course.
We assure the parents that we'll do everything we can to find her, and we spread out in a standard search formation. I was partnered up with one of my good buddies, and we were sort of casually holding conversation while we hiked. I know it sounds callous, but you do sort of become desensitized when you've done this long enough. It becomes the norm, and I think to a certain extent, you have to learn to desensitize yourself in order to work this job. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And we searched for a good 2 hours, go well beyond what we think she'd be, where we think she'd be, and we come out a small valley when something makes us both stop in unison. We freeze and look at each other, and there's almost like a sensation, like a plane depressurizing. My ears pop, and I have this odd sensation of having dropped about 10 feet. I started to ask my buddy if he felt that, but before I can, we hear the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life. It's almost like a freight train passing directly by us, but it's coming from every direction at once, including above and below us. He screams something to me, but I can't hear him over this deafening roar. Understandably freaked out, we look all around us trying to find the source of the sound, but neither of us see anything. Of course, my first thought is a landslide, but we're not near any cliffs, and if we were, it would have hit us by now. The The sound goes on, and we try to yell at each other, but even standing close together, we can't hear anything but this sound. Then, as suddenly as it stops, like someone threw a switch and cut it off. We stand there for a second, perfectly still, and slowly the normal sounds of the woods come back. He asked me what the fuck just happened, but I just kind of shrug, and we stand there looking at each other for a minute.
I don't know. It was weird, wasn't it? Strange.
I like how the the sound you make for the guy he was with, just a villager.
I don't know. But also, like, how desensitized you have to, because he does explain how desensitized you become.
Yeah, but you don't shrug off that.
Right. I feel like there are limits.
There are limits. I get on the radio and ask if anyone else just heard the end of the fucking world, but no one else hears it. Even though we're all within shouting distance of each other, my buddy and I just sort of shrug it off and keep going because we're fucking NPCs. About an hour later, we all check on the radios and no one's found the little girl. Most of the time, we won't search when it gets dark, but because we don't have any kind of lead on her, a few of us decide to keep going, including me and my buddy. We keep close together and we're calling out for her every couple of minutes. At this point, I'm hoping beyond the hope that we find her, because while I may not like kids, the idea of them being all alone out in the dark is awful.
Is that man of the year right there?
That is man of the year. That is man of the year.
I don't really like. In fairness,
Yeah.
I don't really like kids either. But you know what? I think there are reasonable things to say before that. I don't like kids, but like I prefer them not being alone.
The woods can be intimidating to kids in the daylight. At night, what? The woods can be intimidating to
Daylight
kids.
at night. Well, it's a whole different beast.
But we're not seeing any signs of her or getting any responses. And around midnight, we decide to turn around and head back to the rendezvous point.
Okay.
We're about halfway back when my buddy stops and shines his light to the right of us into a really thick deadfall or group of dead trees. I ask him if he's heard a response, but he just tells me to keep quiet in a second and listen. I do, and in the distance, I can hear what sounds like a kid crying. We both call the girl's name and listen for any kind of response, but it just this really faint crying. We head in the direction of the deadfall and go around it, calling her name over and over. And as we get closer to the crying, I start getting this weird feeling in my gut, and I can feel and I can tell my buddy that something isn't right. He tells me that he feels the same way, but we can't figure out what it is. We stop where we are and call the girl's name again, and at the same time, we both figure it out. The crying is on a loop.
Ooh, wait. That's terrifying.
It is terrifying, but we're getting to the good part.
Okay.
It's the same little hitching sob, then wail, then quiet hiccup, repeated over and over. It's exactly the same every time, and without saying another word, we both take off running. Smart.
Honestly, fucking real.
It's the
First real thing that's happened the entire time.
Really. It's the only time I've ever lost my composure like that. But something about it was so incredibly wrong, and neither of us wanted to stay out there anymore. But when we get back to the rendezvous, we asked if anyone else heard anything strange, but no one else knew what we were talking about. I know it sounds sort of anticlimactic, but the call fucked me up for a long time. As for the little girl, we never found a trace of her. We keep an eye out for her and all the other people we never found, but frankly, I'll doubt we find anything. Of the missing persons calls I've gone out on, only a handful has ever resulted in a complete disappearance, meaning no trace of the person and nobody found. But sometimes finding a body just leads to more questions than answers. And here are some of the bodies that we found that have become infamous in our team.
A teenage boy who remains were recovered almost a year after he vanished. We found the top of his skull, 2 finger bones, and his camera almost 40 miles from where he was last seen. The camera, sadly, was destroyed. The pelvis of an older man who had vanished a month earlier. That was all we found. A pelvis.
That is an intriguing body part.
Yeah, okay. The lower jaw and right foot of a 2-year-old boy on the highest peak of a ridge in the southern part of the park.
Question.
No.
Isn't there a lot of kids going missing here?
Yeah, but
80% of the people going missing is kids.
Yeah, in these stories. But I also feel like that might be real. Because I think they're more prone to wandering off.
I mean, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So they're most like that's why one of them was also an old person. We haven't had any young adult gone missing.
There's one teen, right? Like we just read out the guy who remains were recovered a year after, but he's the only
But a
one.
teenager's also stupid and wanders. They hate their parents. Fuck you, parents, and then they walk off the trail.
I'm gonna run away from home.
Yeah.
40 miles away. The body of a 10-year-old girl with Down syndrome, almost 20 miles from where she'd vanished. She had died of exposure 3 weeks after going missing, and all of her clothes were intact except for her shoes and jacket. There were berries and cooked meat in her stomach when they did the autopsy. The coroner said it appeared as if someone had been taking care of her.
Ew.
There was no suspects ever identified. The frozen body of a 1-year-old baby found a week after vanishing in the hollow trunk of a tree 10 miles from the area where he was last seen. 1-year-old baby, Jesus. There was fresh milk found in his stomach, but his tongue was gone. A single vertebra and right kneecap of a 3-year-old girl found in the snow almost 20 miles from the campground her family had been at the previous summer. Now on to a couple of the stories my friend told me. I mentioned that you were all interested in the stairs, and you're in luck. He had a closer encounter with them, though he doesn't have any explanation of them. For them, he does have a bit more experience with them than I do.
My buddy has been an SAR officer for about 7 years. He started when he was a junior in college, and he had a very similar experience when he first encountered the stairs.
The stairs.
His trainer told him almost the same thing mine did, which was never to go near, touch, or ascend them. For the first year, he did just that. But apparently his curiosity got the better of him, and on one call, he broke away from the line and went to go check a set of them out. He said they were about 10 miles from the path where a teenage girl had vanished, and the dogs were following his scent. He was on his own, lagging behind the main group, when he saw a set of stairs off to his left. They looked like they were from a new house because the carpeting was pristine and white. He said that he got closer, he didn't feel any different or hear any weird noises. He was expecting something to happen, like bleeding from his ears or collapsing.
I should do.
As you do. But he got right up next to them and didn't feel anything. The only thing he said that was odd was that there was absolutely no debris on the steps. No dirt, leaves, dust, or anything. And there didn't appear to be any signs of animal or insect activity in the immediate area, which he found strange. It was like things were avoiding them, and more like they just happened to be in relatively barren parts of the forest. He touched the stairs and didn't feel anything except the sort of sticky feeling you get from a new carpet.
What? Huh?
What kind of new carpet is sticky? Making sure his radio was on, he slowly climbed the stairs. He said it was terrifying because the way they've been stigmatized. He wasn't really sure that what was going to happen to him. He joked that half of them were expecting him to get teleported to some other dimension. The other half was watching for a UFO to come swooping down. But he got to the top of a little event, and he stood there looking around. But he said the longer he stood on the top step, the more he felt like he was doing something very, very wrong. He described it as a feeling you'd get if you were in part of the government building you had no business going in. That is a good description.
Yeah.
As if someone was going to come and arrest you or shoot you in the back of the head any second. He tried to brush it off, but the feeling got stronger and stronger, and that's when he realized that he couldn't hear anything anymore. The sounds of the forest were gone, and he couldn't hear his own breathing. It was like some kind of weird, awful tinnitus, but more oppressive. He climbed back down and rejoined the search and didn't mention what he'd done. But he said the weirdest part came after. His trainer was waiting back at the welcome center, and the search ended for the day, and he cornered my buddy before he could leave. He said his trainer had this look of intense anger and asked what was wrong. You went up to them, didn't you? My buddy said. My buddy said it wasn't phrased as a question. He asked how his trainer knew. The trainer just shook his head. Because we didn't find her.
Oh.
The dogs lost her scent. My buddy asked what that had to do with anything. The trainer asked how long he'd been on the stairs, and my buddy said no more than a minute. The trainer gave him this really awful, almost dead-eyed look and told him that if he ever went up another set of stairs, he'd be fired immediately. The trainer walked away, and I guess he never answered any of the questions my buddy asked him about it since.
Okay, so whenever you go up these stairs, people disappear. So it's like a dimensional thing. Like you walk
Yeah.
up the stairs, you go in, they go out.
Yeah, something like that.
But he went back down.
But that means whatever's taking or kidnapping kids
Mm.
also is a part of that dimension on top of the stairs.
Yeah. But they could also just disappear because that's how they disappeared so far.
Yeah.
It's like they've just gone.
But he was also in another dimension for a second. He couldn't hear
Yeah,
anything.
he couldn't hear anything. Damn.
Yeah, okay, whoa.
I would walk up immediately. That sounds sick.
I mean, no matter what, if there's a bunch of fucking stairs in the forest and everyone's like, don't go up then, don't go up then.
Yeah, you got to do it.
My morbid curiosity,
Yeah.
I'm going to go up them
Why
at
am
some
I?
point.
What they're just stairs.
They're just stairs.
Yeah.
And what if they're not? Like, aliens? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I would. I don't. I wouldn't that enthusiastic about aliens, I think.
I mean, after the 4th, 5th, or 10th, or 20th search, I'd probably be like, I gotta go upstairs.
Yeah, I gotta see.
I gotta see what
Gotta
the
what's
fuck is that? What is going on?
Fair.
My buddy's been involved in a lot of missing persons cases where there's never been a trace of them found. I mentioned Dave Pilates, and my buddy said he can confirm that those stories are, for the most part, accurate. He said that most of them, if the person isn't found right away, they're either never found or they're found weeks, months, or years later in places they can't have possibly gotten to. One story he told me really stood out that involved a 5-year-old boy with a severe mental disability. I have one before you go on. I have one big gripe with this fucking story.
Okay.
No commas, man. He does commas here and there, but they're very few and far in between.
I also think you just can't read.
That is no. I'm good at reading.
I'm doing fine.
Because you can read. That's just the thing. You would write like this because you're dumb, and that's why you can read it. Oh my god, I'm getting.
He's taking this shit out on me, and on
I'm not taking
the
it out on
wonderful
you.
author who wrote the story for us to read. Thank
Listen,
you, Search and Rescue at Reddit.
You're a good guy, but please get your picture right. And
Also, it's 15
make paragraphs.
Also, it's 15 years ago.
oh.
No, he might have been like 14 when he did this.
We're just creating a timeline.
We are.
He could be 30. Maybe he's 40 now and still can't fucking write. Okay, wait. My bad. You're a good guy.
The little boy vanished from a picnic area in the late fall. In addition to the mental disability, he was also physically handicapped, and his parents explained over and over that he simply could not just have vanished. It was impossible. Someone had to have taken him. My buddy said they searched for this kid for weeks, going miles out of the accepted range, but it was like he'd never been there. The dogs couldn't pick up his scent anywhere, not even in the picnic area where he had apparently vanished from. Suspicion fell on the parents, but it was pretty clear that they were devastated and hadn't done anything sinister to the kid. The search was concluded about a month later, and my buddy said everyone had pretty much forgotten it later by that winter. He was out in the training op in the snow on one of the higher peaks when he came across something in the snow. He said he saw it from far away at first, and when he got closer, he realized it was a shirt, frozen, sticking partway out of the powder. He recognized it as belongings to the kid because it had a distinctive pattern. About 20 yards. Don't laugh at me.
No, I'm just saying. Now you see my struggle.
No,
The guy is bad at writing.
I think it's also the way we're reading this. It's like it's so dense. We need some spacing. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
no, but we could have done that in the doc. We could have fixed that.
Yeah, but this is okay.
Yeah. My buddy said there was no way that the kid had been dead for any more than a few days, even though he'd been missing for almost 3 months. The kid was curled around something, and when my buddy brushed off the snow to see what it was, he said he almost couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was a big chunk of ice that had been carved crudely, sort of like a person. The kid was holding it so tight that it had frostbitten his chest and hands, which my buddy could tell even with the decay that had taken place. He radioed the rest of the crew, and they took the body off the mountain. Now, he recapped all of this to me, and to put it simply, there was no way this kid could have both survived for almost 3 months on his own, or have gotten to this peak. There was no physical way this child could have walked off almost 50 miles and then ended up on top of a goddamn mountain. To top it off, there was nothing in the kid's stomach or colon. Nothing, not even water. It was like my buddy said. The kid had been taken off the face of the earth, put in a suspended animation, and dropped on this mountain months later, only to die of exposure. He's never really gotten over that one. The last story I'll share from him was one that took place relatively recently, only a few months ago.
They were out doing recon for mountain lions because there had been several reports of sightings in the last couple of days. One of our jobs is to scout out the areas where these animals are seen to ensure that if they're in the area, we can warn people and close off the trails. He was out on his own in a very heavily forested part of the park towards dusk when he heard what sounded like a woman screaming in the distance. Now, as most of you know, when a mountain lion screams, it sounds almost exactly like a woman being brutally murdered.
I did not know that.
Did you not?
No, I did not know this.
I've heard clips of it. It's like blood curdling scream.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's what's happening outside my windows at night. Okay.
Right. It's unsettling, but far from abnormal. My buddy radioed back and let ops know that he'd heard one and that he was going to keep going to see if he could figure out where its territory started. He heard the mountain lion scream a couple more times, always from the same spot, and determined the approximate area of the mountain lion's territory. He was about to head back when he heard another scream, this time within only a few yards of him. Of course, he freaks out and starts heading back at a much faster pace because the last thing he wants is to run into a goddamn mountain lion and get mauled to death.
Fair.
As he gets back on the path and starts heading back, the screams followed him and he broke into a jog. When he was about a mile from Ops, the screaming stopped and he turned around to see if it was following him. It was almost night by this point, but he said it in the distance, just before the path rounded the corner, he could see what looked like a male figure. He calls out to them, warning them that the paths were closed and that he needed to come back to the welcome center. The figure just stood there, and my buddy started to walk over. When he was about 10 yards away, the figure took, as he described, an impossibly long step, Thunderman, toward him, and let out the same scream my buddy had been hearing. My buddy didn't even say anything. He just turned and sprinted back to Ops. Never looked behind him. By the time he got back, the screaming had moved back into the woods. He didn't mention it to anyone else. Just said that there was a mountain lion in the area and they would need to close the paths until the animal could be located and moved.
Also, first of all, I'm quitting
Yeah.
immediately.
I mean, I would have quit
Yeah.
by the first story.
Oh,
But yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah. And why does he call all of them buddy? Or is this one buddy?
No,
Because
it-
it says buddies.
I'm assuming it's different buddies.
Right.
I mean, one was a woman, one was a guy. It's like,
Yeah.
it's a bunch of different. I mean, assuming there are more than 2 people in this, department.
Yeah.
Um,
But SAR, like,
search and rescue.
search and rescue, right? You know what I'd never be beyond this? A fire walk in the deep, dense woods of like
Mm.
Montana, some shit.
Ooh, there's actually a really, really good horror story about that.
Yeah,
That
I
is
could imagine.
super. That is super long, but it's
Yeah.
really, really good.
I've seen this one like horror game ish
Mhm.
one where it's kind of like also like it's called Firewatch the
Mhm.
game.
Okay.
You've seen it like that one.
I
That's,
think so.
yeah, that's a good one. Then there's another one where he just like he's there for a couple of days and then he spots like a cult that like fucks with
Ooh.
him.
Shit.
Yeah,
Mm.
and then the last mission is him just like they're spotting him
Okay.
because he sees them with binoculars up from the Firewatch like a mile down
Mm.
in the dark dense
How do they
woods.
spot him?
No, he stands there and he looks with the binoculars, and then suddenly the music or whatever ritual they're doing stops, and then something is behind him, like makes a sound, and he looks down, and then he hears someone run away,
Oh shit.
and then the moment he looks back, they're gone from that one place.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I fuck with that. Also,
scary.
just to note, this was the end of the story.
Yeah.
Or the stories, I suppose.
That was the end of the SAR story.
So what are your takes? What are your thoughts? Because we got one little story coming up that our producer Gibby wrote that we'll read very quickly after. But let's get our thoughts about. I'm a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forest Service, and I have some stories to tell.
I mean, the stories,
I think they're
They're-
good.
yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
They're good. But I feel like, what's the scariest thing you could talk about when it's like the woods?
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to search it and you have to rescue people and stuff. I feel like what's more scarier is human, honestly. Like of course, like
mean,
a figure doing some crazy shit, whatever, whatnot.
Sure, I don't know if I fully agree with that. Like I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Like the most immediately scary thing would be humans.
Yeah, like Satanists and cultists
Yeah.
and like weird shit.
But I think what's really interesting about these stories is like the unexplainability of it all. Like nothing makes sense.
Yeah,
And-
I did like the dimension part
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that tied together to multiple stories.
I kind of wish we had more about the stairs. I'm not
Mm.
gonna lie, because those would have.
They were the main ones.
They kind of it started out with
Yeah.
those, and then we didn't talk about them for a while, and then they were brought back with like an actually really like interesting like concept of like
Mm.
okay, someone goes up, someone disappears.
Yeah,
But then again, all of these could be tied back to the stairs, which I think is kind of maybe where he's going at. Like all of
Mm.
these are because of the stairs in a sense,
Yeah.
whether it opens up a dimension for creatures or
It could be the kids just walked up one of the stairs, or like a lot of the kids were found 14, 15 miles, or
Yeah.
40 miles
Yeah,
away
just
from the place they
fucking
disappeared.
TP'd somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, yeah, I think they're very solid. I couldn't write this.
It was solid.
You could write it.
But honestly, I do have one stored away.
Mm-hmm.
I have to find like an email from 2013.
Okay.
But I do have like a horror story.
I mean,
I'll save it
no,
for-
no. We should do one where we all try to write a horror story.
Honestly, I'd be so
That'd be
down.
fun. That'd
I'd
be
so
fun.
down.
Yeah.
I used to like writing stories.
Yeah, I didn't. I wrote about a coin named Carlos in like English class. I don't remember the premise, but it was a coin named Carlos.
But my best story was me writing about like a really like fucking teenage Ash story
Mhm.
where I was like the bullied one,
Of
but then I
course.
got the girl.
Oh yeah, of
and then I
course.
beat up the bully.
Of course you did.
Yeah, and
Hell
then all
yeah.
that shit happened. It was 3 pages. That shit was
Clock
nuts.
it.
And I
girl.
wrote it when I was 11.
Oh yeah, I bet that shit was fire.
That shit was fire.
Okay. nonetheless, we do have a very short Gibby story. Woo ya is the title.
Woo ya.
That's what it says.
I'm coming down to woo ya.
And it's something that Gibby, our producer Gibby, apparently wrote. How long ago? When is it? Like 5 years ago? 7 years ago?
He said it was like his school teacher, so it's got to be like
Yeah.
almost a decade ago.
He ain't that old. But
Am I tripping or is it the room across?
no, it's either further down.
Humans can lick it. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's how it ends.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shit.
Hey, you just spoiled the whole thing.
Shit.
I have to bleep that.
Oh, that's because he didn't thicken the fucking Gibby story.
No,
Woo
no,
ya.
No, he didn't.
Stupid ass Gibby.
You want me to just read this out, or
yeah, you know what? You take it.
you can try to do the.
I'll do the quotes.
Yeah, do the quotes and the slanted things.
Okay.
The italics.
Mhm.
So this is Gibby's story. Woo ya.
Yeah, baby.
One night, a young girl was left home alone. Her parents had to go out unexpectedly, but they weren't too worried. She was responsible, and besides, she had her dog, Max, to keep her safe.
Lock all doors and windows,
Her parents instructed as they left.
and don't let anyone in. We'll be home in the morning.
She promised, waving them goodbye as the car pulled away, leaving the quiet of the night settling over the house. The girl checked every door and window carefully. Most of the locks clicked into place easily, but there was one window in the living room that resisted. The latch was old, stiff, and impossible for her to lock properly. She tugged at it for a while, then sighed.
It'll be fine.
She thought.
Nothing's gonna happen tonight.
Upstairs, she washed her face, brushed her teeth, and changed into her pajamas. Max followed her dutifully, but, as always, curled up under the bed for the night. She reached down and scratched behind his ears, feeling comforted by the warmth of his body beneath her.
He'll keep me safe.
She thought, letting that thought lull her into sleep. Hours later, she awoke. Ding dong. The clock read 3 a.m. A faint dripping sound echoed through the house, steady and deliberate. At first, she thought it was the faucet in the bathroom leaking. She rubbed her eyes and muttered to herself.
Oh, I have to fix that in the morning.
Her hand brushed down under the bed, and Max licked it softly. It's not going to be Max. I bet you already. It's not going to be Max.
What do you mean it's not gonna be?
It's not going to be the dog that licked her.
Oh,
Yeah. She smiled.
he's here. Everything's okay.
She went back to sleep, comforted by the familiar warmth of his presence. But the dripping sound returned, louder this time. When she woke up again, it was 4:30 a.m. Her heart beat faster as she realized it wasn't coming from the faucet. It was coming from the bathroom, which is where the faucet is, if we're being real here.
There's a faucet in there.
Usually. She tried to ignore it, telling herself it was probably just a pipe. But curiosity gnawed at her, slowly. She swung her legs over the side of the bed and reached down, letting Max lick her hand again.
He's here. I'm safe. What is wrong with her?
God knows. Gibby wrote this, so probably a whole lot. She took a deep breath, crept toward the bathroom, her bare feet making small, cautious sounds against the wooden floor. Moonlight streamed in through the hallway windows, casting long shadows across the walls. Each step made by the floorboards creak, and she paused at every small sound, imagining things that might not be there. When she finally reached the bathroom, she froze. The sight that met her eye. Oh, I know what this is gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready. It's gonna be Max hanging there or some shit.
Wait, did you just finish it?
It's at 100%. The sight that met her eyes was worse than anything that she could have imagined. Max, her loyal companion, hung from the shower rod, skinned and lifeless.
Jesus Christ.
Blood pooled beneath him, the steady dripping sound echoing in her ears. Trembling, she noticed the words crawled in thick red blood. The white lies.
Humans can lick too.
Do.
First of all, I hope he got an F for this.
We failed miserably.
Second of all, why is there so much licking? I get that's the point of the story.
Because humans can lick too, man. Don't you? Did you not catch that part?
Oh yeah, I get that. Okay, but put yourself in the situation. You're okay. Eddie's here, right? And then you're sleeping, and then you hear weird sounds in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Weird sounds, and then you have your arm hanging, and then you hear licks, and you're like, oh, he's here.
No, but I mean,
No one goes like that.
I kind of. She's a child. I kind of get that. She has a big dog.
She's a teenager.
But she's still a
I don't know
fucking
why I
child.
said that.
She's a teenager. All right, my bad. Sorry, she's clearly an adult. No, but like, yeah, she's a kid. She's home alone, probably for the first time. You know, she's got her dog, who's like the goat apparently. And then
Well, Max not the goat. He got skinned alive. Fucking
Well,
GG go next.
that was unnecessary.
I mean, he did.
Yeah, but he's still
With
the,
no barking.
yeah, he's still the goat. You know? Yeah, he's the dog.
That is an interesting. But also how the last paragraph is just fucking bloodthirsty, whatever could happen.
Oh yeah,
And then she saw the hell of
it was
the
it was very 0 to 100 in literally one sentence.
the gates will open and Max was stood there with a cross on it.
I'm gonna eat you alive. Hey, my bad. I'm sorry. But I mean, okay. So the next time we do this, we make sure to get a story where we can, because it just worked better.
Yeah, we can do short stories each, and then the other person, like, I make one, you read it. You make one, Gibby
Yes,
read it.
but I also
Gibby
think
makes one, I read it.
For sure. But I also think that the next time we do this reading thing, we gotta make sure to find a story that has a narrator and like things happening.
Yeah.
Because it works better.
Yeah,
It works better.
the format before it was good.
So blame fucking Gibby for that one.
Yeah. Honestly, no, I appreciate you, Gibby. Fuck this guy. I appreciate
I'm the one paying everybody.
you. With what?
My presence. Nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for tuning in for this week's episode.
Number 35?
We didn't mention number because technically, it's technically 36, but like I did because BJJS was 35, but I didn't actually count that as a episode. you know?
Right. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
fine. This is the 35th then.
This
Yeah.
is 35th,
And that the other one is bonus. Yeah.
exactly. Please make sure to check us out on Spotify. Please make sure to check out last week's episode, the VGJS binge along. We had a lot of fucking fun filming that one.
Good episode to sleep on or just watch.
All of
Just
them
binge
are.
it.
All of them are.
Mhm.
Yeah, I put that in as tags for the reason.
Honestly.
But we will see you guys next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. If you have any more stories you want to, help us practice how to read.
What an out.
Right? Thank you so much. See you.
See you. Bye-bye.